Okay. Fine. It's time. We're going to talk about reading slumps. And if you know me, you know that I fall victim to a reading slump probably once a year. And I've been in a very long one. That's just where I am right now. Maybe you're in a reading slump right now. Let's do some tips and tricks that can help you, can help me get us both out of this reading slump, because I'm like, this is what I'm focusing on right now. Anyways, welcome to Moonlight Library, my channel. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe. If you're not, welcome back. Yes. Anyways, reading slumps are the worst, and I freaking hate them. I would make them go away forever if I could, but I can't. So sometimes a reading slump can affect us by, like, maybe we're reading less, or maybe we're not reading at all. Maybe it's something in our lives. Maybe it's something that's like we just read too much and we're a little burnt out. Something that'll happen to me is if I get really into a series and read multiple of them, and then afterwards it's like, what could be better than this? You know, like, I don't know. I'm just like done. Something that also typically happens to me is when the winter rolls around, there's just so many things that you have to do in your life that I get out of the habit of reading. And then it's hard to pull myself back into it for some reason. Like, I just can't find something that is the right mood for me. If you have something, a reading slump tip that you know of, go ahead and put it in the bottom if I don't bring it up. Or if you have any additions to what I'm saying, I want to hear about it. I want them tips, I want them tricks, and let's do it together. So anyways, let's go to the external. Not so much the physical, like what to read or something like that first. So externally, I think that the reading slump has a lot to do with, like I said before, your mood, what's going on in your life, a lot of external factors. Maybe you're moving, maybe you just had a child, you're graduating, something's changing, or maybe it's like it just fell out of your routine. The trick here is not to be hard on yourself about the fact that you're not reading or not reading as much, not to play too much into it, because if you're forcing yourself to read, I think it just makes it worse. Like, it makes it worse for me, because I'll start picking up books and not finishing them, and pick up a new book, not finish it, pick up a new book, not finish it. Then I feel so much worse, because I'm like, I'm reading little bits of things and I'm not finishing anything. I feel just horrible because I just want to finish a book, you know? So don't be hard on yourself. Don't force yourself to read. Another thing is, like, maybe creating more of a routine around reading and trying that. Like, sometimes I feel like one of my downfalls right now specifically is at night, instead of sitting down in bed and reading a book for an hour before I go to bed, I'm choosing to play crosswords. I have a little bit of a problem. I literally can't stop. Sometimes I'm up until 4 a.m. and I can't. I don't know what's going on, and then I feel really bad the next day. Anyways, I mean, it does have to do with why I'm not reading, is my crossword issue. I love crosswords. Instead, it's like I want to create a rule about no screens before bed. So, like, saying, like, an hour before I go to bed, no screens, or an hour and a half, 2 hours, be like, I'm going to get my nightly routine done, then I'm going to get in bed and I'm just going to read. That's it, you know? And it'll help me sleep and it'll help me read. So that's a starter tip. Another tip is, another tip, you know, I'm going to do that the whole time, and I'm going to be annoyed with me, and you're not going to be annoyed with me because you love me. So that's how that works. Another tip is, don't judge yourself against other people, because I know there's some people on this, like on BookTube or on Bookstagram or whatever you're looking at, Book Talk, they're out here reading 30 books a week. I hope that'd be great. I bet someone does. Or 30 books a month, you know, 300 books a year, more than that. And I'm like, we all have our own amounts. Whether that's 1 book a month, whether that's 3 books a year, we have our own amounts. Also, it depends on what you're reading, your reading speed, and stuff like that. So let's not judge ourselves and compare ourselves against other people and their reading, because reading is more so like a personal thing, especially to me. Like, I feel like it can be communal in the sense like having a book club or a shared experience through a book, but at the same time, the actual act of reading the book is usually a solitary journey unless you're reading aloud with other person, which I have done, which is nice. Another thing that you can do, like, let's go more towards your reading and what you can do. You can join a book club. That usually works for me. I will actually read my books because I'm in a book club, or do a buddy read. I'm right now buddy reading with my boyfriend. We have a book that we're reading together, and it is like not every time we hang out, but every once in a while when we hang out, we're like, let's sit down and read for an hour or something like that. And we'll just both read the same book, and somehow we have the same reading speed. So, sometimes these things work out. Another idea that works for me specifically is whenever I'm in one of those big reading slumps where I cannot even put my eyes onto paper, I can't even put my eyes there. Another thing I'll do is I will read graphic novels because it's just not the same narrative format, obviously. There's pictures as well. There's less text on a page. It, depending on the graphic novel, can move faster. I can find all sorts of different genres through that as well. And for some reason, just like having this ability to read multiple and be able to get through all these different ones makes it easier for me to like kind of guide myself back into reading like chapter books, as people call them. So that helps me a lot, and that has legitimately saved me out of so many reading slumps. I cannot even tell you. Another thing is reading audiobooks. Listen to an audiobook. I'm right now listening to Julia Fox's Down the Drain, and it is crazy. So like a very addictive audiobook is good, something that you just like consume because I can't take enough of this woman's story, and she's now my hero. And this is where we are now. With my hero, Julia Fox. Audiobooks help significantly as well because it just gets me back into that different format of listening and experiencing. I feel like another reason that I'll find myself not reading too is because I'll be using my phone too much, and I get used to this instant gratification of technology. You have TikTok and Instagram. I feel like the extreme excessive dopamine hits that are like boom, boom. Every time you swipe, you have this new experience, this new person, this new world, this new idea, this new story. And my mind is running back and forth and back and forth, and makes it harder to pay attention to more of a long format thing. Like it's not only books that are right now getting to me right now that I'm not paying attention to. It's also, I'm not watching TV or anything like that because it's just too long format. And I'm like, Rachel, you need to, turn on the screen time settings on your phone, put some focus modes, like do something because this isn't working, and I really appreciate the time I have when I'm reading books and experiencing stories from around the world and fake worlds and inside of people's heads and whatever. Another thing to do is like actually focus on what mood you're in, what would fulfill your mood. If say, oh, I only ever read literary fiction or I only ever read sci-fi. Well, maybe you're not in the mood for that type of book. Maybe you need to find a book that is going to be something that fits where you are right now. Like you want some action, like go pick up like a more action intensive story. If you want to have like high thought and stuff like that and deep perspective on the world, pick up something like that because we have a plethora of resources at our fingertips that can find books that match the mood that we're in and the place that we're in our lives that will help us to feel more attached to what we are consuming. Additionally, something that sometimes works for me as well is rereading a book, rereading a favorite book or something that I really cherish. I'm the type of person that can reread something. I know some people are like, oh no, I already know that story. If that's not for you, it's not for you. But for me, sometimes if I know I really enjoyed a story, even just picking it up and starting it can help me get back into the mood of reading. And I might not even finish it. I might pick something else up and actually finish a book because I'm like, oh, maybe I want something like this story that I love. Let's do something that's like a read-alike of this instead and see how that gets me to this place where I will be reading more. Maybe a series as well. That is all I have for you today. I hope that you're not in a reading slump and you're just watching this for the fun of it. But I hope that if you are in a reading slump, that something I said might help, something in the comments might help. Let's discuss below what our ideas are and how we can get out of reading slumps, because I don't know, I don't understand it, but I also don't love it. That wasn't a but sentence. I shouldn't have used it. But, oh my God, I have a problem. Okay, thank you. Love you and see you later. Bye.